Dear friends, I'm so sorry not to be with you and to say these few words to you from a big distance only, when I would really enjoy so much being much closer to you. I thank you immensely for the interest you have in hearing me talk at all. I don't quite understand why you do, but it is great for me that this actually is occurring, even though in my mind it of course cannot replace my being with you and seeing you and talking with you. So all best wishes to you for a wonderful meeting that I would have so much wished to be able to attend myself.
So when you moved to Caltech and work with Linus Pauling, was there already in your mind the idea of working on what was to become molecular evolution, or what was the overall atmosphere in the lab of Linus Pauling at the time?
There was, so far as I remember, nothing ongoing at that time in the field of molecular evolution that as such was just forming, so to speak. I very naturally drifted into that. Jane, do you remember something that I might say in this respect?
What I mean is, so in 1962 there is this incredible paper that the two of you wrote, and that compares protein evolution with time, and this is just completely different than anything else that had been done before. How did the entire idea come about? Was it a discussion between the two of you? How do you remember how the idea of molecular or molecular clock came about?
I believe I can say that I evolved ideas quite independently. That the usual pattern of things was that I wrote the paper, and pretty often I think it was a suggestion of Linus Pauling that we might write a paper. But then I wrote it all together and submitted it to him, and in general the changes that he introduced were moderate, and the paper essentially came out as I had conceived it.
I see. About just scientific discovery in general, the idea of the molecular clock that over 50 years has changed, has been refined, but the very fundamentals of it are still here, and very much so, and are being used more and more, if anything. But the original discovery, did it come to you gradually, or was there a sort of eureka moment where all of a sudden you noticed a pattern of divergence in those globins, or did it come to you gradually? Was there? Can you remember of a moment where something special happened?
No. It seemed natural to wonder whether this succession of changes that were obviously taking place during evolution, and that not exclusively by any means, but to a large extent, were then known as attributable primarily to exchanges of individual bases in genes or amino acids in corresponding proteins, that such changes came out with a frequency that could be represented by means that were not as such meaningless, namely that different means of substitution rates of the components of the informational macromolecules of biological objects would in fact be characteristics that should be analyzed and evaluated properly.
Now, when another aspect of the discovery process that I find interesting is that your discovery and your paper became far-reaching, and to this day there are entire softwares that are designed around the idea, and there are, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands, probably thousands of scientific papers that are based on it. When you first wrote this paper in 1962, did you expect it to have such far-reaching consequences?
I don't think I was thinking in those terms. It just seemed to me a probable aspect of the reality of the evolution of substances that were characterized by a varying combination of chemical units, in the case of the proteins, the amino acids, and of various alignments of these units, with the effects of the differences in these combinations and alignments accounting for the different functional effects of the macromolecules that resulted.
Mm-hmm.